Syrian state television has said Israel bombed Syria overnight, and this has been confirmed by a U.S. military official. The airstrike supposedly targeted a massive military research site in Damascus. RT's Middle East correspondent Paula Sleer now has the latest.
There's been no immediate comment from Israeli officials about this morning's explosions, although an Israeli military spokeswoman has said that Israel does not respond to quote her, this kind of a report. The U.S. State Department has also had no immediate comment, although the Israeli embassy in Washington has declined to say anything. At this stage, it's not clear whether or not there are any wounded or dead from this morning's explosions, but Syrian state television is reporting that Israel launched at least 12 missiles from Lebanese airspace targeting an ammunition depot on the outskirts of the capital city of Damascus. Syrian television says, and I'm quoting, that the new Israeli attack is an attempt to raise the morale of terrorist groups, obviously a reference to rebel fighters inside that country. The Syrian state TV is also reporting that Israeli jets broke the sound barrier and hit several military posts. Hezbollah's Al-Manar TV station is reporting that the explosions may have been due to a downed Israeli jet. We are receiving some reports that 2 Israeli jets were downed, but let me re-emphasize, no confirmation, reaction or any comment from the Israeli side. This comes as we start to see rumors now, particularly online, following the latest volley of attacks on the Syrian regime. And these rumors state that the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad will soon officially declare war on Israel. Now, many are dismissing these reports as strictly rumor. There is also speculation about the nature of this morning's attack, with some insisting that Israel's weaponry was nuclear-like. There are some who are saying that chemicals could be smelt in the air and that the attack was coordinated between Israel and the help of Syrian rebel fighters. Eyewitnesses have described the attack as, to quote them, an earthquake and unprecedented. Now, Israel has in the past repeatedly warned that it is prepared to resort to force to prevent Syrian weapons reaching the hands of Hezbollah, which is an organization Israel claims is a terrorist organization based in Lebanon. The ammunition depot that was hit this morning is a strategically important military position to the regime of the Syrian President Bashar al-Assad. There is video footage. It is not yet verified, but it has been posted to YouTube, at least 3 videos showing a huge ball of fire rising into the night sky over this morning, the early morning's attack. Damascus certainly is heating up its rhetoric. I mean, let me make the point that the research center that was hit this morning was the target of an earlier Israeli strike back in January. And according to Damascus, that strike saw 2 people killed and some 5 workers wounded. As I said, we're still waiting for Israeli confirmation regarding this morning's strike, and we're also still waiting for an official public Israeli confirmation regarding a strike overnight Thursday. Now, according to unnamed Israeli officials who are speaking on condition that they speak anonymously, that attack was also carried out by Tel Aviv. That attack is believed to have hit an arms convoy believed to be destined for Hezbollah in Lebanon. It was first broken by American officials who said that it was an Israeli strike. What it does indicate is that this conflict is not only becoming regional, but certainly has international ramifications as well. Hezbollah is a militant organization. It is based in Lebanon, but it is allied with Damascus. And Israel has repeatedly in the past said that it would do everything to stop any kind of game-changing weapons from getting into the hands of the organization. Lebanon has also lodged a complaint with the international community, saying that Israel violated international law by flying over Lebanese airspace. Israel in recent days has taken widely reported steps to neutralize threats that are emanating from Syria. And this is a departure, because when the Syrian conflict first broke out, Israeli officials were very reluctant to make any kind of comment over what was happening across their border. But certainly the situation is intensifying on the ground, and we're keeping a close look.
RT correspondent Paula Sleer right there. Well, just a bit earlier in the programme here on RT, we spoke over the phone with Damascus-based journalist Abdallah Mawazini. He described the chaos in the Syrian capital after the latest reported Israeli attack.
Well, the explosion happened in Damascus, attacks everywhere. All the houses were shaken. Now we got more information about the place where it's centered in called Jamraya, and also a military station close by in Hama area. Everybody went up. Most of the people who went down to the warehouses downstairs to make sure that they are safe. Now we are getting more information soon and soon. Before the explosions were heard everywhere in Damascus, now people are getting scared. We have also some unconfirmed news that there is one jet was down, one Israeli jet. The Syrian officials TV said that it's military attack by jet over Damascus. Now we get more information from another TV station saying that one Israeli jet was down, and also we have some information about capturing two captains. Israeli captains. The Syrian TV has confirmed that this is an Israeli attack, and there is more research about it, and we have more confirmed information that it's an Israeli jet that's attacking.
Let's get some reaction and insight now from Amir Oren, a senior correspondent for Israel's Haaretz newspaper, joining us live here on RT. It's good to see you today. Still no official confirmation on the strike from Israel. What's the latest you're hearing now in Tel Aviv?
Yes, there is no official confirmation because this is part of the Israeli policy, which you can describe as pounce but do not announce, or don't let but don't tell. Don't let the Syrian regime transfer its surface-to-surface missiles and surface-to-air missiles to Hezbollah, but don't brag about it because saving face for Bashar Assad may be even more important than the very act of the attack. So while there is no official confirmation, you can take it almost as face value when you hear the US side confirm it unofficially.
That's right, as we did get the unofficial confirmation from at least one US official inside Washington. Though when it comes to the issue, as you were saying there, of preventing so-called surface-to-air missiles from going to Hezbollah and Lebanon, what about the legality of Israel bombing Syria like this without even a UN mandate? I mean, how do you expect the international community to react to this?
Well, the Israeli and Syrian governments have maintained a fragile ceasefire for the last 40 years, and they have been largely scrupulous in confirming their adherence to these accords. However, next door in Lebanon, the Lebanese government does not control Hezbollah, and Hezbollah wants to take these arms from Syria and position them within Lebanon, which is illegal. Hezbollah is in a state of war with Israel. And while you may say that flying over Lebanese airspace is not exactly according to international law, this is nitpicking. The real problem here is how to cap the regional conflagration from boiling over. And while there are many reasons on other aspects to be critical of Israeli policy, it does seem that this time around it is quite balanced. It is only trying to prevent and preempt further conflagration.
I'm sorry. You talk about the Israeli airstrike being balanced. You call the Israeli airstrike balanced. We've got unconfirmed reports now of at least 400 people killed during this overnight jet fighter weapon strike. Massive explosions. The video footage there has been absolutely incredible. You call this a balanced reaction to unconfirmed reports that the Syrian officials are moving surface-to-air missiles to Hezbollah, which they are denying at the time. You call it balanced?
Okay, let me clarify. First of all, there is, of course, and regrettably so, a massacre going on in Syria and has gone on for the last 2 years, with many thousands of people being killed, others perhaps in the hundreds of thousands being uprooted and now being refugees across the border. And what Israel is trying to prevent is another Lebanon war. Hezbollah is one of Bashar Assad's last remaining allies. And in return for its help against the rebels and perhaps against world jihad groups, it is getting those missiles which are going to be launched against Israel. This is perhaps a minor price to pay in order not to pay the bigger price of the killing and the havoc which will be wreaked by another Lebanon war. So on that scale, yes, the Israeli action is the least Israel can do and the last resort.
The least Israel can do and the last resort. All right, well, obviously there is a conflict going on in the region. Tempers are flaring. It's hotting up a lot. It's very difficult to get confirmation from both sides of the story here, though at least one U.S. official now confirming the latest Israeli airstrike. Do you think Washington is likely to get involved? I've got a story from one of the news agencies saying that the Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu convened the Security Cabinet on Thursday night to approve the strike in Syria. Where does Washington stand with all this?
Well, this is procedural. If such a strike was indeed launched, then Netanyahu had to get confirmation from his own governmental mechanisms, and this would be standard operating procedure. One should assume that because of the sensitivity, because the U.S. side could get involved in Syria for various reasons, the Turkish, the Jordanian aspects, and many others, of course, the chemical weapons problem, the U.S. has been notified in advance, especially because a week earlier, the U.S. side was embarrassed by an Israeli announcement regarding the use by the Assad regime of chemical weapons. So one should assume that the U.S. had advance notice of this strike, or perhaps even more than one strike.
Mr. Oren, you mentioned a moment ago the issue of chemical weapons inside Syria. Certainly a lot of worldwide critics are saying whether it's mustard gas or sarin gas or weapons of mass destruction, if indeed they exist, where indeed are they now? Because what we understand here at RT is that Israel's latest airstrike on the outskirts of Damascus targeted a massive military research facility. If there are chemical weapons in there, what has Israel just done?
Okay, the so-called research center is presumably not one intended for scientific knowledge and out of which future Nobel Prize winners will come and help humanity. If there are chemical precursors and other materials, they are usually held separately. You do not mix them before you are going to use them. So there are various containers on the way to missiles or other vehicles intended to launch them. The problem is how to hit them without causing the breaking up of these containers and causing damage to the population in the vicinity. Presumably, these considerations are being taken by either Israeli or American experts or others as they plan these attacks, especially if these so-called research centers are located within populated areas such as the
Indeed,
Damascus
as you say, populated areas as in Damascus. All right, we'll have to wait for further confirmation on this developing breaking news story here on RT. Live from Tel Aviv, Amir Oren, a senior correspondent for Israel's Haaretz newspaper. Thank you very much for your time today.